Hey everyone, and welcome to PGN Live. It is Monday, February 9th, 2026. Jeez, almost a week and a half into February, and February is a short month. So in 5 days, it's going to be halfway over. Where is the year going? That's kind of funny saying, where is the year going? Second month in. But once February ends, you're in March. When you're in March, you have the realization that, geez, when March is done, 1/4 of the year is done. Now, I don't like to rush forward, but the reality is time is always ticking. So try to be productive, try to have fun, and try to maximize what you can do in that time. Speaking of maximizing, let's maximize this pop-out chat so I can see who is here today. Some of you are already rolling in. Let's go. We've got Tall Show in the house with a perfect emoji. Robbie Rain says hi. Another fine emoji there. We've got Mario and Emio back to back. Pokemon Fan 34 is in the house. I'm not a plant. Hello, Paul. Hello, I'm not a plant. Ash Gaming 17 with the $1. That might be the fastest super chat ever to a stream in the first minute. And right hot on the heels of Ash, which by the way, thank you so much, is Pokemon Fan 34 unlocking the 6-month badge. That might be the first 6-month badge here. I'm not sure. Because I haven't seen many, if not any, because that is brand new. Will we get the Pokemon games on GameCube NSO finally this month? Well, Pokemon Fan 34, first of all, thank you for using your PGN Brown Belt tier green badge there to express this comment, because that is a cool function that we've got. And look at that James Bond 007 icon next to your name. Pretty cool, I say. Michael S. Gutmann is also here. But let me get Ash's name up here, and then let me also answer Pokemon fans' question. Ash with the $1, holler, making it red for Valentine's Day. Even though it's not Valentine's Day yet. It will be. Valentine's month. Something like that. It's the $1 million question. Thank you, Ash, one more time. And Pokemon Fan 34. Geez. The thing is, so here's a little bit of nervousness that I've got. I don't doubt that it's coming. You know it's gonna come eventually. But it's weird because from when they announced it, other things have come out since. So you would think what you show off, especially when it's older things, would come out, you know, in sequence, right? Like you're showing this thing, and then it would release. You're showing something else later, and then that later thing would release later. Not always the case with brand new games, right? You could show off the Dusk Bloods when you did, and Mario Tennis Fever when you did, and which one's coming out first? Clearly Mario Tennis Fever. So that's one thing. But when it comes to like classic titles, yeah, it makes sense that one would believe Pokemon Fan 34, that Pokemon Coliseum and Pokemon Polygale of Darkness would have been released by now, or at least, before Luigi's Mansion and Fire Emblem, I guess, right? But here's the thing. February is a Pokemon celebration, 30th anniversary. We just had the Super Bowl commercial. That's pretty cool. But here's the thing. February 27th. It's right at the end of the month. Do they wait till Pokemon Day to share that these Pokemon games are coming, tonight? Tomorrow? That's really coming close to the end. If this Pokemon Presents was like February 19th and we had 9 days to spare, I would say that might be a little bit more likely. I'm just nervous that they might show it off on the 27th, but it comes out in March, Hopefully it's a day and date drop, but I don't know. you've got to expect that it's coming soon, though, right? So I'm gonna say maybe on this month, probably. Aaron Cedillo is here. Paul, you saw Pokemon commercials yesterday? Yes. I like that they celebrated like that, you know? And Michael S. Gutmann says, I just beat Expedition 33 Act 3 ending yesterday. I'm going to explore a bit more and do the DLC, but wow, what a game. I'm really tempted to purchase it again for Switch 2 especially. That's cool. If they have physical items. So like if they have a physical release. That's cool. That's cool. It's good to hear. Yvonne Francois is here. Hello, everyone. Michael S. Gutmann, we need an Expedition 33 movie ASAP. Interesting. Roger Enyart, hello there, sir, and happy Monday to everyone. Hope everyone is having a great day. Thank you, Roger, on this side. I hope you're having a great day as well. Here's hoping for a solid week up ahead. And speaking of solid, we are so early in the stream and already have over 20 people watching. Thank you very much, everybody. And of those 20 people, I think we're doing pretty good on likes. We've got 11 likes, so let's go. Thanks a lot. I was hoping they dropped the games during the Super Bowl commercial. Like those NSO ones. Too expensive of a commercial to just do an NSO drop. As part of it, maybe, but no, I didn't think we would see the games yesterday during the commercial. But there was a little possibility of, like, if it was a Pokemon 30th anniversary celebration commercial, that at the very end they could have had, 3 seconds of footage or the names drop of the Gen 10 Pokemon games coming out this year. But that was sort of a small possibility in my mind. I think we will see the games at the Presents, though. The new games, I should say. Probably the NSO stuff, hopefully. But Gen 10 stuff, very likely, I think. AJ Rax is here. AJ, have you tried out those drop-down lunges? What did you think? Let me know. Steak 1024 is here. Welcome, welcome. I don't want to miss anybody. My patience is wearing thin. Pokemon Fan 34, the best I could say is... for the heck of it, maybe. I don't know if this is going to help. Once a day for the next 8 days or something, try out one different NSO game in the GameCube section on the Nintendo Switch 2 for like 1 hour. Especially if you've never played them before. So, I don't know if you've tried them or not, but like, play Soul Calibur 2 for 1 hour on one day. The next day, try the Wind Waker for an hour. The next day, try F-Zero GX for an hour. The next day, try Luigi's Mansion for an hour. Something like that. So maybe that little bit of variety will fill you up with some joy, some entertainment, and even if none of them like hit you, it will make good use of the time and the variety before eventually getting Coliseum and Polygale Network of Darkness, if that helps. Artisan James, wow, 18 million, 3 months before Switch 2 has had one total year on the market. Yeah, the system will turn a year old on June 5th. Excuse me. And they finished their fiscal report clearing up December 31st at 17.36 million, 17.37. But now, just several weeks into 2026, they have hit 18. So the rest of February and March would have to be really small to not do 19. I don't want to jump the gun and say 20 is a guarantee, because I don't think 20 is a guarantee, but 20 is a possibility. AJ Rex, yes, There's a little straining, but I can do a few. Got work up to 15 you could do. Excellent. You know what? Fewer reps, no problem. 11 of them, 10 of them, 9, 5, it's all good. Smaller range of motion, also good. Just a few on one side, then a few on the other, then a few, also fine. Different possibilities. As long as the form is okay and you've got that support next to you, good is going to happen. Improvement is going to happen. A little bit at a time. A mile is the same amount of distance for everybody. That doesn't change. But how long it takes you to get there, that could change, but that's okay. You'll still get to the mile. Whether you tiptoe, crawl, walk, jog, run, sprint, you'll still get there. You know what I mean? So if anybody has a goal that's fitness related, or you just want to get healthier, you're going to do it. You will do it. Just don't stop. So that's kind of like the motivational advice, is just continue. I'm going to be all right. Paladin, 19.64 million for Nintendo 64. And 64 sold more than that. But you're saying it ends up with 19.64? I like that. Like, that'd be kind of cool. Yeah. Man, N64, just a special one for me, It came right at that time in my life when I was already a gamer for a good several years. I was 12 turning 13, already a big fan of the likes of Mario. Excuse me. And then here you had this transition into analog sticks and rumble technology later on, and 3D gaming, 3D camera rotation, polygons, like the whole Switch. Wow, amazing. That's why Nintendo 64 was my favorite console of all time, despite other systems having, better libraries. N64 was so pivotal, so powerful, that it finally took Nintendo Switch to beat the Nintendo 64 and become my new favorite system, because it just reinvigorated that feeling that I had as a kid, which is harder to do when you're an adult, again. It gave that new sense of wonder of, oh my gosh, I am taking this completely modern day console and then take it on the go. Fantastic. Yeah, special. Both are special. But each Nintendo system is special in a different way, You can link it back to a different time of your life, and it's pretty cool. I saw a graphic in which Switch 1 sold like 27 million in 2020. Yes, what the heck happened that year that propelled sales so much? Trying to recall which game. So, actually, I have that right up here on my X. You might have seen mine. I mean, there could have been other people that were sharing something similar, but I did a breakdown per calendar year. 2020 in March had Animal Crossing, and that year also had the pandemic. And it was a full year of Nintendo Switch Lite being on the market that Nintendo released kind of late 2019. So that was a jump. Now, I think that Nintendo Switch, by the way, would still be at 155.37 million now, regardless of COVID. I just think that the numbers would be a little bit different. Like 2020 might have been, 23.5 or something. 2022, I think, would have been the peak year at like 24.5, or maybe goes 2020 gets 23 million, 2021 gets like 24.5, 2022 gets like 21, and then you've got like another 1.5 million or so that gets spread between 2023 and 2025, and you're looking at still hitting that 155.37, So I don't think it would have been all that different otherwise. It's just 2020 got accelerated because of COVID. It's not that, those systems wouldn't have sold eventually. No. 2021 should have been, probably would have been, Nintendo Switch's original peak. But it peaked in 2020 thanks to folks being at home more, coronavirus hitting. because Nintendo Switch OLED model, after all, still came out in 2021, right? And that was a big seller, and that would have continued to carry on the way it did. Yeah. Anyhow, back to chat. Good question though. Caps Paranormal. Hello, Paul and everyone. I picked up Grid Legends over the weekend, and I must admit that's all I played. Sometimes I get really hooked on a racing game. Should I get a wheel? Oh, I have never purchased an actual wheel setup at home, but a wheel with, gas and brake and all that could be kind of neat. I'm glad that you like the game. It looks good. Looks good for sure. Artisan. Super Mario 64. At the ripe old age of 1396 was literally the most magical experience I ever had. So you're right there with me in terms of age and familiarity, remembering Super Mario 64. That's pretty cool. Nintendo Dave QC says hi all. Hello there. Welcome, Nintendo Dave. Forgot about COVID, Animal Crossing, boom, boom. Normally a console has its biggest year in year 3 or 4. Sorry, I was looking at something that popped up. So I'm curious to see how much the Switch 2 could hit in 2028 or 2029. My total expectation, lifetime prediction for Switch 2 is 130 million. That's not bad. Let's see. Animal Crossing. Okay, talking amongst each other. Lean Chesley, are you going to play it? Play what? Are you talking to me or who? And what are you talking about? Heavy hitters for 2026. 3D Mario would be so good. Any news on what the Pokemon Day Out and Night Out events are yet? No. Ideally, they have 2 system seller type games per year. If Nintendo could have I'd say this might be a little ambitious, but one, call it 20 million seller game a year. That's amazing, by the way. That's amazing. Like a AAA high quality title in one of their big IPs. One of them that's a 20 million seller every year. They'd be financially set all generation. They'd take more risks as long as those other games are still selling within 3 to 7 million range. That'd be great. But that's not the plan. They'll have some 10s here and there, plenty of 6s, a 10 once every couple years, probably something that goes above and beyond expectation, like a 35 or something. 3D Mario, Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, Smash Brothers. Those are pretty much a 2D Mario, I would say. Those are kind of like your guaranteed 20 million sellers. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom showed that, hey, Zelda could do over 20 million, but those are the only 2 that have ever done so. If you do a new 3D Zelda game that is comparable in build and quality and awesome factor, you could have yourself a Zelda game that does 20. Pokemon, not directly by Nintendo, but that's another one that's like, that's a guaranteed 20 plus. I would love to see Star Fox get there, but let's just focus on Star Fox coming back. Let's see a new Star Fox game, a new Kirby game, and do well, be good entries. Splatoon, a future Splatoon like Splatoon 4, could that be a 20? Maybe. Nintendo's got some heavy hitters, but even if they have something like a 20 million seller once every few years. Let's say all generation long, they've got like 4, but there's some higher 21s. Maybe they have a new Ring Fit Adventure game, another Nintendo Switch Sports title, another Mario Party. Could be a 20 million seller. Just don't overcrowd Mario Party too early. Yeah. They've got a potential. This is their generation to win back to back. It's hard to win back to back. Overall, I would say NES and Super NES won back to back. N64 and GameCube did not. PlayStation and PlayStation 2 did. PlayStation 3 did not. Wii did. But Wii U did not. It went back to PlayStation 4. Then it went to Nintendo with Nintendo Switch. Now Nintendo Switch 2. It's hot off the press. Will PS6 come out? And will the next Xbox come out? Yeah, but Nintendo Switch 2 is so far the only platform of the generation, so it's kind of winning by default. But as Nintendo Switch overall won against PS5, Xbox Series, I think Nintendo Switch 2 has what it takes to win out against whatever else. Because you gotta look, Nintendo Switch competed against PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but it counts in the generation of PS5 and Xbox Series. In the end, it beat all 4, but it only counts as a generational win against those other 2. Just like Nintendo Switch 2. Yes, it's currently beating PS5 and Xbox Series overall, but it will only count as a generational win if it beats the PS6 and the Xbox successor, post Xbox Series. Anyhow, that's a lot of mumbo jumbo. Not really. It's fun, but I want to get back to the chat. I hope we see Wolverine gameplay in the State of Play. Yeah, because Wolverine, Michael S. Gutmann, is one of my most anticipated games of the year. Whenever I get asked, it's always one of the top ones for sure. Well, Stake 1024, we'll have to pay attention to that Pokemon Day Out and Night Out event. I know I addressed it earlier, but I'm definitely going to have to pay attention to that. The Mario Galaxy movie in April should also propel Switch 2 sales, even without a new Mario game. Even if it's Yoshi and the Mysterious Book that releases. Yeah. They'll all work well with one another. J.M. Powers says, "Hello, Paul, and hello, chat. What did y'all think of Bad Bunny last night? I thought he did an excellent job, and the message was definitely needed, but nobody will ever outdo Prince. I'm trying to think. What was the best overall? I didn't watch all of it. Actually, did I watch any of the game? No, I didn't watch the game last night. I kept up tabs on score and stuff like that, but I had some big outside tree work that needed being done that took up my time, and that's okay. Took up a lot of energy between climbing on the tree, climbing on the roof, getting up, getting down, sodding, pulling, twisting, kind of working in the sun for a good amount of time. Yeah, I didn't watch the game. So I just a little bit like recap stuff. So actually, I don't know of the Bad Bunny performance and how was it. I hear some different things. Some folks liked it and some didn't. But I'm glad that you liked it. Paladin. I'm trying to also think what was the best that I've ever seen at the Super Bowl, and I don't really have a pick on that either. Now off the top of my head. It's cool that Indiana Jones is full on cart. Yeah, definitely. I'm picking it up. I already decided I'm picking it up. There have been a few times where I was tempted to, oh, scratch off my old code or re-put in my code, or put in my code, I should say, because they are new, just unused, for another like 3 months of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, but I have not, because I wanted to like play Indiana Jones. But now at this point, I'm just gonna wait till the Nintendo Switch 2. The graphics look great. Looks like it's moving smoothly. My wife's a huge Indiana Jones fan. We'll play it together, and it'll be fun. And have it in, tabletop mode, which is attractive, and portable mode in bed and all that. Like, man, it's gonna be fun. It's just not a two-player game, but we'll enjoy it the way we did Grand Theft Auto 5. Let's see. Switch 2 edition. Sounds weird. Maybe just Nintendo makes a Switch 2 sports game, but it would seem adding more Switch sports would be ideal. Yeah, like I don't know. So I don't think there'll be necessarily like a Nintendo Switch 2 or a Nintendo Switch Sports Nintendo Switch 2 edition. Like I don't think that'll happen. Maybe just a free upgrade pack to utilize higher frame rate resolution, stuff like that. But I do think a Nintendo Switch Sports 2 will release. Or something called Wii Sports plus Nintendo Switch Sports. Ooh, talk about capitalizing on all names and have this bundle of remastered Wii Sports game with that classic look. Or Wii Sports U, right? Just better looking stuff. What Wii Sports had, what Nintendo Switch Sports had, and put that into one game. That would be a big 20 million seller, I think. And maybe like a Ring Fit Adventure 2. That could also do well. Maybe something brand new. We'll see. Let's see. We've got over 40 people watching right now. We are a little bit later than normal, so that's kind of nice, giving folks that might have normally missed it a chance to watch. And of the 46 we've got watching, we've got 22 likes, so almost half. Thank you, everybody. New Mario Party ground up Switch 2 could be another 20 million. Yeah. I would wait a little bit. I wouldn't release one this year if I were Nintendo. We got Jamboree. It's new enough. Don't let it phase out completely, but let some time go by between that one and this new one so that folks really want a new one, Yeah, you never want a series to stagnate, flatline, but you can't release something back to back to back to back to back to back because you'll get fatigue. Yeah. It's like pizza's wonderful. Oh, I love pizza. But if you ate pizza every single day, I think most would start to say, how about a cheeseburger today? I wouldn't mind something different. So even a good thing, you want to spread out. SNES remix, please, would be cool. CBH, what's up? Yep, they need a direct soon to keep that momentum going. I think we'll get a Nintendo Direct before April 30th. I stopped playing Ring Fit when it told me to turn into a tree. I remember this comment. You have said this before. Deja vu. I thought that was ridiculous and turned the game off. Now I can't find the circle thing. Oh my gosh. Jam Powers 83. I remember reading that exact comment because we talked about Ring Fit before. Now, personally, Ring Fit Adventure is a fantastic exercise tool. Take this from someone with a Bachelor of Science degree in kinesiology, who is a personal trainer, who is a sensei, who is a university professor, martial arts instructor, teaches calisthenic classes, fitness for life, running, conditioning, fitness, walking, yoga, karate, taekwondo, tai chi chuan, basketball, personal defense. Did I say karate? MMA. Yeah. One-on-one training, groups of 30 training, has led seminars before, upwards of high 70s, low 80s people. Ring Fit Adventure is a legitimate exercise tool. The game is good, fun, high quality, and turning into a tree is a yoga pose, if I'm not mistaken, in the game. Having you do the tree pose, it is simulating that tree pose from yoga. I've played the game. It's just been a while since I booted it up, so when I'm thinking tree pose, I'm thinking, I think they had us do the tree pose with the ring con, and it's really good. I would revisit that game because the muscle tension that it provides, the smarts that went into building up, is legit. It's the real deal. It'll work your pecs, it'll work your triceps, it'll work your hip abductors, adductors, the abdominal crunches that are utilized in it are the real deal. You'll get a shoulder burn, a pectoralis major, and a rear deltoid burn. Oh man, don't sleep on Ring Fit Adventure if it tells you to turn into a tree. It's not ridiculous. It's real exercises made fun in a game about blasting enemies along the way. I would definitely reinvest in it. Sketches of Harmony says, hey, Paul and everyone. Nice Spidey drop there. I don't think Mario Maker 3 is happening. Artisan James, I could see a Super Mario Maker 3D coming out eventually. Oh, that would be sick. Create sandbox style levels comparable to Super Mario 64. Would be so fun. 2-player run through that. Be great. 2 still decent enough, but underperformed sales wise. Yeah, it didn't quite live up to, I think, how much Nintendo was hoping it would. I wouldn't be surprised if Yoshi gets a random trailer update on the Nintendo Today app soon. Maybe. I think if we don't get a Nintendo Direct until after the Super Mario Galaxy movie comes out, that there's a decent chance that, like you said, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book might just show up in a Nintendo Today drop trailer or on social medias, perhaps both, right? One after the other, before April 1st. Because I think they would like to show, hey, there's a new Yoshi game coming out. Yoshi's a big star in the movie. Watch the movie, become an even bigger fan of him. And by the way, that game drops in May. Then again, I'm also thinking things are just fitting so well together that I could see this Direct happening before the film. I don't think the Direct will happen any later than April 30th. I think there's a fine chance that it'll show up, before the end of this month, if not March. But time will tell. Yeah, I don't think a June Direct's going to be a thing. Well, I mean, I think we'll get a June Direct, but not all the way till June to having to wait. I think we'll get one before. Adventures for a King. What's up, Paul? What's up, Adventures? Oh my gosh, there are a lot of comments in here. You tried the Pragmata demo. You found it look better with lens distortion turned off. Interesting. I played through the demo a couple of times. It was really good. Tablet Cat Games is here. Hello. Victini Blast is here. Hi there. Splatoon Raiders. Yeah, that'll happen sooner or later. What's up, Paul? Are you going to get your movie tickets for the Mario Galaxy movie? Yes, Mario Kart Fan 34. Yes. I'm excited. Oh, that's a day oneer. Actually, that's a day minus oneer if it comes out. So, if it comes out April 1st, typically what movie theaters do is they have these late night showings like 7 p.m. or whatever the night before. I'm going to go March 31st. I can't wait. Definitely getting Indiana Jones. Impressive that Indy is going to be the first ray trace game that doesn't need SSD speed. And all on a cartridge. You want the cartridge yourself, Tabby. We'll be watching the podcast with Attack the Black Backlog and Nash Wheel later today. Very cool. Summer, I guess, for Yoshi. Could be May. Would be kind of crazy if it dropped on April 2nd, right? A Thursday, but I think That's too close to the movie. But interesting though, because it just might compete with people's money. You know, you want people to see the movie, and then like here's a $70 game the day next. I don't think so. But a month or two later, May, June, possibly. Switch Wii U Sports Club Deluxe Switch 2 Ultimate Edition. Yeah. Could be late in September. Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Switch 2 Edition. That's a mouthful. But yeah, I think Xenoblade Chronicles 2 gets an update in some capacity on NS2. AJ Rex says, when do you think Nintendo releases the Switch 2 Lite or OLED? I think the earliest we see something is this November, maybe September, but that's early. But Nintendo has not done something like that before. I mean, there was a 2.5-year gap between Nintendo Switch and NS Lite, about a 2-year, 1-month gap between the NS Lite and the NS OLED model. But if you go back to DS and DS Lite, you're looking at about a 1.5 years. Game Boy Advance SP, something around the 1.5 year range. 3DS, and let me see what the next one was. Was the next one the 3DS XL? 3DS had a lot of revisions. You got to remember, you had the 3DS, the 3DS XL, new 3DS, new 3DS XL, the 2DS, the new 2DS XL. So Nintendo could do something in a 1.5 year range. If they do, that's why I'm thinking September is kind of early. November would be a bit closer to some of their old school products. So I'm going to say November as the earliest they do, Nintendo Switch 2 OLED model or Nintendo Switch 2 Lite OLED? I don't know. Is Lite's main importance reducing the price? Or do you want to increase the clarity also? And do you make this Lite undockable? Or do you make this Lite something that can be docked, but you just sell the dock separately? I don't know. Saver bet is 2027 for a revision, but it could happen as late as this year. Do you think that if they release a Wii any later, that they will release a new sensor bar? If they release new Wii remotes, I think that they could get the technology working good enough, comparable enough, that they won't need a new sensor bar. Or they could find a way how to just connect a little something simple, like maybe a new sensor bar, honestly, yeah, to your Nintendo Switch, as it does have the dock that is a couple of USB ports on it. And even in portable mode, you could connect something to the Nintendo Switch too, and just have it work, via a USB Type-C port. So maybe. You're on the Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. Cool. I feel Mario Party 2 or Mario Party Switch 2 would be ideal for 2027, 2028. I think 28 would make the most sense since they did DLC in 2025, maybe. Let's see. What's your favorite pizza? Oh, geez. Jack F123X. I love a lot of pizza. Default pepperoni cheese? I'm game. Pepperoni sausage? Dude, sign me up. I love spicy. I'm salivating right now. You throw a jalapeno on there? Pepperoni and jalapeno? Legit. Pepperoni sausage jalapeno? Super good. I also like sweet. Pineapple is really good. Ham and pineapple is great. Ham, pineapple, and jalapeno? You're getting spicy and sweet? Oh, dang. I'm salivating now. Throw throw pepperoni and pineapple together with the jalapeno, also good. Chicken, like barbecue chicken or chicken with like parsley or whatever, also good. Dude, stuffed crust, cheesy sauce instead of like typical marinara pizza sauce, also good. There is no bad pizza. There's no bad pizza. I've had pizza with big ol' olives and full on tomatoes there and onions. You know what I haven't tried in a long time? Pizza with anchovies, though. As a kid, I wasn't keen on anchovies being on a pizza. But I think I would try it again as an adult. It's just been a long time. I probably have tried anchovies on pizza as an adult, just been too long that I don't know. I have a feeling I wouldn't be that big of a fan of it today, but hard to say. Mushrooms are like the works, where it's got mushrooms, olives, and bell peppers and all that stuff. As a kid, there would be sometimes like, oh, it's too many vegetables on a pizza. I'm not trying to have a warm salad, you know. I want meat and cheese. But as an adult, oh no, there's something that hits a little bit different about having everything on it. Like, it's good. My palate is more sophisticated as an adult than it was as a kid, so I have a greater appreciation for a more wide variety of foods. Oh, I am so salivating now. All I want now is pizza. Dig it? Ooh. Good question, though. The Great Wah is here. Hey, the Great Wah, welcome. I can't stand on one foot, though. I've always had balance issues. If you can't stand on one foot, stand close to the side of a couch so you could grab firmly onto the couch and lift the foot up. That would help. Even if you got to use two hands on the couch and lift the foot up. That's how I would recommend you get there, you know? Now there are certain things where it's like stand on one foot and hold on to this. Then you have to modify, so I understand. That would be trickier. Obviously, health is wealth. Be careful with what you could do. Don't push yourself. But certain things you could definitely modify. Yoga is a great exercise, yeah. Paul, why do you think... Oh, where did it go? Oh my gosh, chat is firing off. Why do you think Bethesda would do Indiana Jones fully on cart, but Fallout 4 per eShop listing at 50 gigabyte, 7 gigabyte on a code or in a digital box digitally? Good question. Does Indiana Jones eat up more of the Nintendo 64 gigabytes than Fallout 4? Because one possibility is if Indiana Jones say fills up like 61 and Fallout 4 is like 50, they might say, we're really not utilizing the other 14. It's sort of an extra waste. Let's just go digital or code in a box. Whereas Indiana, the ends justify the means. We're really maximizing the whole cart, so let's just do it. Or they think that Indiana Jones is going to be the bigger seller of the two, or that there's a more unique factor to it existing in a physical medium manner in which the other versions don't, so it would have greater attraction like that. You know? There's a good chance they announce a new Mario this year. Yeah. I don't think Nintendo's waiting until June to the Direct. I don't see how they could do a March or April Direct and still have another June one. See, so there gets a point where if they don't do one by early April, I think they just wait till June. Because you don't do one in May and June. You could do one in February and June. March and June. Nothing wrong with that. I think you could do April and June. But if you do like April 28th, what are you going to do? June 10th also? It's kind of soon. You never know with Nintendo, but yeah, there gets a point where like too late of an April Direct, and you really wonder, so what are you doing with June then? Maybe though, because they could always do mini. They could always do partner. What if they just had a Nintendo Direct Mini in April? They waited all the way to April 15th to do a Nintendo Direct Mini, but it gave people what they kind of wanted. Where, here's Dusk Bloods, here's Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, Fire Emblem Fortune's Weaves, and something else I'm skipping. One new game. There's something else, but like just a few, but big games like Splatoon Raiders, right? And then June they had the big one with all right, here's the 3D Mario something. I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's you would have to really fine tune it to make sense of it, especially when people are waiting for a general. If anything, it might be the other way around. Like April gets the big general, and then June you have a mini that covers some things that don't. But then June is always associated with big stuff being dropped. Then again, all directs throughout the year are always associated with big stuff. People are always in hopes that every direct, February, June, September, has big stuff, We live in interesting times. If they do a March, April direct, I'm expecting the summer direct to be a partner direct. Yoshi is spring. I tried the Pragmata demo too. You don't like that doesn't save your data. It's such a short demo that I think it's okay. But yeah, that could have been cool. What will we do with a Drunken Sailor? I don't know. Switch 2 Lite is most likely 2027 as a guest. Is it weird that I was more excited to see the 30-minute Nintendo Partner Direct than the hour-long State of Play? No. J-Views, not weird. What's up? What's up, J-Views? Hey, Paul, what will we do with a Drunken Sailor? I don't know the reference. I don't think I get the reference. See you later, Pokemon Fan 34. Have a good appointment. I wouldn't bank on an OLED Switch 2 anytime soon. The RAM and storage cost issues, plus the cost of an 8-inch 120 hertz OLED panel would make it pricey. Yeah, like if I had to be safer, I would say probably a Nintendo Switch 2 Lite is more likely than a Nintendo Switch 2 OLED model at this point. But one thing I would like to see is if they do a Nintendo Switch 2 Lite, give it the function of it can still dock, just release the dock separate, even if it's a dock adapter or a unique dock. You know what I'm saying? By the way, 51 people watching now. Good to see a lot of different folks in here. Plenty of similar people that are here on all of the streams, but it's nice having a little bit of a later show today that kind of appeals to a more broad audience. And we have 32 likes, so thank you all. Hawaiian, plus pepperoni, olives, and red onions. That sounds good, Sketch. I agree. Hawaiian is the only bad pizza? No way. Hawaiian's good. Ham and pineapple? Oh, I like ham and pineapple. I think it's a good combo. Best pizza is plain cheese extra sauce. Nothing wrong with just cheese. Living in New York City, we don't eat chain pizza. We have local pizzerias. There's 3 of them a block away. Crazy, right? We've got plenty of small, like Bob and Pops and local pizzerias in Los Angeles as well. But there's also plenty of, chain pizzas like Little Caesars, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's. I guess those are the 4 big ones, probably. I guess Patchy's is another semi-big one. But then there's plenty of small, distinct shops that are really good, too. J Biggs, Mr. NY for Life, what's up? I miss pizza. I've been on a weight loss journey since last June. Well, awesome, Nerdy Paul. And yeah, good for you on going on this weight loss journey. Hang in there. It's not the easiest, but you've got this. Just keep it up. Don't knock pineapple till you try it. Absolutely. Pineapple's good, man, on pizza. Come on now. I tried EDP yoga for a little bit, and it gave me really bad back pain. Yeah, be careful with anything new. Charmel Leach, hello there. Welcome, welcome. I am Paul. Hope you're having fun. That's a general at that point. ELP. Let's see. What's awkward, Charmel? Call of Duty. That could be good. JView says, I think we'll get a direct in mid-June. I tweeted my theory earlier on why it could happen. You'd think Yoshi must be out before the movie, so we must have something about it before the end of February. Possible. Carlton San, what's up? I think a light is coming in 2026. Could be. VRR and OLED screens cost too much. That might be a limiting factor. It's Sea Shanty and Assassin's Creed Black Flag. Oh, Black Flag. Yeah. Assassin's Creed Black Flag was pretty good. Do they not do general directs anymore with third-party stuff? They do. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with a Nintendo Direct having third-party games. They do. They do. It's just a general partner show. It's just a partner showcase is its own thing to focus on this set of third-party games, not distracted by a big Nintendo IP. Let's go. You know, give them their own avenue. Chicken is the worst topping on a pizza. Okay. California Pizza Kitchen. That's another chain. They do a really good... Oh, there goes the salivation, man. Killing me. They do really good barbecue chicken pizza. Not dry at all. Theirs, at least. When I moved away from Connecticut, I accepted the fact that I'm also leaving the best pizza in the world. Interesting, Carlton, son. Connecticut with good pizza? That's cool. Roger Enyart. Okay, all, I have to get ready for an online meeting. If we finish before the stream's over, I will pop back in. Very cool. Have a good meeting, Roger. Hope you have a good rest of the day, too, and maybe see you later for more. Listen, there's a cauliflower pizza that's not bad. Have I tried cauliflower pizza? I don't know. You could still eat pizza if you're trying to lose weight. Just have one slice and a salad. Yeah, portion control can be tough, but possible. Yeah, it kind of seems a waste of the Switch 2 power to do a light. Gonna be hard for them to hit 300. Dockless Switch 2 would be neat, but the dock might not cost them enough to allow a decent price cut. So the Nintendo Switch 2 docks on their own are like $110, $120. What if the Nintendo Switch Lite, let's see, was $350, standalone unit, could work with the dock, and maybe in every Nintendo Switch Lite box, there's a little plastic shell that it would allow it to then slip into the dock, you know? Doesn't come with a dock. Just comes with a little plastic shell to make it connect into it. $350. So you have $350 and $450. Maybe. Who else is getting tennis fever? Yeah, I want to watch that opening cinematic. I still might. Probably won't at launch, but maybe. Use pizza as a carb load prior to a good weight lift or a cardio session. Yeah. Hello, fellow gamers. Hello, Cell Olivia. Welcome. Chicken parm pizza is delicious. Like Paul says, a light that you could still dock would be a reasonable option. Yeah. CPK has carne asada pizza that's fire. Carne asada pizza? Oh, gosh. All we're talking about is pizza today. Pizza and cheeseburgers. My two favorite food groups. They're so simple. Although a good alternative to a cheeseburger is a patty melt. Something about either like sourdough bread or rye bread. And then the grilled onion aspect of a patty melt. Dang. How do we all get on the food today? I don't know. I don't mind. But we're mostly talking games today. We're supposed to. Whatever. Might have to try some carne asada pizza. Order a pizza? Yeah. Connecticut pizza is really good. Cool. The dongle, yeah, could work. Sketches saying, yeah, I was thinking if it was just a standard Switch 2 sold without a dock, but yeah, I agree that a light version should be dockable somehow. Yeah, that would make it a lot more attractive. Honestly, Nintendo could do that with the Nintendo Switch 2. Just here's a Nintendo Switch 2 for $350. Buy the dock separately. Boom, done. Done. That's how you get the SKU out there on the market for less money. Buy the dock separately later on. But if you sell a different model and a dock separately, then that's how you also have another model that just looks different too. W Pizza Talk, yeah, it is true. Imagine Imagine how fast a Switch 2 Lite Pokemon Gen 10 bundle would fly off the shelf. Super fast. I think with the Switch 1, the Lite would infringe on the S1 OG sales, so they left it dock out. And with no price cut in sight, I think the Switch 2 Lite with dock would just provide a cheaper model. But like, what if they just allowed the Nintendo Switch Lite to be docked, but you had to buy the dock on the side? Then you would have had the price benefit of $200 up front, but if anyone changed their mind eventually, they could have bought let's say they bought a $100 Switch Lite only designated dock. That would be their choice, but at least they would have the option, you know? Then Nintendo would kind of make more money by selling another piece of plastic, a Switch Lite dock. Yeah, I think it could have. You're getting hungry, Carlton Son. You're actually having pizza for dinner tonight and a punk to the Great Wall. Man, I think I might have to now too. I think I'm gonna have to have pizza too. I love sausage, onions, and peppers on pizza. Sausage, onions, and peppers. Yeah, that's good. The best burger I ever had was Donovan's Pub. If DK Bonanza got a hamburger theme park level, maybe the next 3D Mario will have a pizza level, lol. Asada pizza. I had a bowl of chicken, potato, and pearl barley stew for my dinner today. That sounds good. Think about the size of the Switch 2. It's too big for kids' hands. My kids played Nintendo Switch 2 just fine. But, yeah, maybe for some kids it's too big. I mean, my kids don't have problems with the Pro Controllers either, though. I love a Switch 2 Lite. I don't need it to dock. Just want something smaller. You know what I think Nintendo should do? Release a Nintendo Switch Micro for $100. Talk about a sales explosion. Imagine the whole thing is just about the size of a new Nintendo 3DS XL. $100. Digital only? With a big 256 gigabyte internal and micro SD XC card slot available, or still be cartridge based. Maybe even a little bit of a plastic flip to cover it. that then kind of goes over the analog stick buttons, D-pads. So it's sort of protected on the go, kind of giving it that security. $100. If they could get a Nintendo Switch model for 100, oh, talk about extended life. Talk about more sales. I wonder what their margin is on the dock itself. I imagine pretty good. Nintendo doesn't like giving options like that. They're like Apple in that way, where you clearly have to make a choice and sacrifice some other features. But on the other hand, they've done stuff like, here, for the Super Nintendo, you could play Game Boy games. You had two systems running parallel that generation, but you could play Game Boy on the SNES with the Super Game Boy. Here, during the Nintendo GameCube era, they had two systems running parallel, it and the Game Boy Advance. You could play Game Boy Advance games on your GameCube with the Game Boy player. So Nintendo is accommodating at times, and I think more often than not, they have done things that support backwards compatibility. When you look at like Game Boy Color playing GBC, GBA playing Game Boy Color, DS playing Game Boy Advance, but eventually no GBC, DSi with the ability lost to play GBA, Wii U to play Wii to play GameCube, Nintendo Switch 2 to play Nintendo Switch. Having something like, here's the ability to have a cheaper portable unit, but be able to buy the ability to have more, that is just more money for them. They've done stuff that can support or counter almost anything. It really is kind of a varied company. Imagine how hard the grifters would go on a dockable Switch 2 Lite being sold with a dock separately. Yikes. That's true. I could see $380 for a standard Switch 2 without dock. Any less, they might lose money. Maybe. The Pro Controller is perfect size. Have you ever had a chocolate pizza or a calzone? I've had calzones before. A chocolate calzone, I don't think. I'd buy a micro Switch just for the novelty of it. See, Blocky19, exactly. I think many people would buy a Nintendo Switch Micro for $100, even if they already had a Nintendo Switch. Let's see. Okay, this is a good poll, I think. I'm excited to see what y'all think of it. Or I should say how you vote. My son plays the Switch 2 docked mainly. He likes the Joy-Cons with the controller grip. Yeah, that's a good choice. Switch 2 Lite would be great. I would get it. Also, hi Paul. Hi Quiet Lion Gaming. Welcome. Nerdy Paul. You know what would be cool? A dual screen Switch 2 Lite. Yeah? I still expect the 3-screen patent device. I modded my Switch 1 Lite, and it's the best dedicated handheld ever once you boost frame rate and image. True, but it was a clear separation between handheld and playing on TV. I think that she... Okay, I'm reading a couple comments. I think double dipping is prizing them. I had a chocolate pizza in Italy. It was really good. Oh, cool. I thought... So, had it not been for The tariffs, I thought, man, that like for holiday 2025, we were going to see the following drops. Nintendo Switch OLED from 350 to 300, Nintendo Switch from 300 to 250, and Nintendo Switch Lite from 200 to 170. That's what I thought we were going to get over the holidays. But what we got instead was a few months prior, actually a price increase thanks to tariffs and such. Otherwise, I think we were in the perfect timing for price drop. Switch 2 Kirby Air Riders, LOLOLs, showing off that Green Ranger icon next to their name. Being a member for 3 months in the PGN White Belt Tour. Heck yeah. Thank you, Switch 2 Kirby Air Riders, LOLOLs. Thank you, I appreciate it. I had Chicken Kiev for tea. Switch to Micro, maybe. Is Zetec? I would buy a cheap Switch TV stick thing to leave at my parents' house. Yeah, that's a good point too. What if it was just a little Fire Stick equivalent dongle? You know, Nintendo Switch dongle. Digital only, it has access to your NSO stuff and your digital library. It's got to have a decent internal, but can support micro SD XC. And yeah, you just have your whole library up there. Access it on the side with separately sold Pro controllers, Joy-Cons. It'll work. Yeah, it just sticks in the back. You forget about it. You switch HDMIs. Boom, there. Kind of cool. In between workouts at the moment, what if Nintendo does allow external drives for the Switch 2 dock, but can only support Western Digital's new 2GB hard drive, probably priced as high as the system? Oh, well, Tall Show, good question. I think it would be welcomed to have, an external hard drive that could connect to the system. It's kind of something that I would have liked on the Nintendo Switch, but it didn't. Maybe NS2 would get that at some point. I thought similar, but like Mario Kart World being $80 to sell the bundle, I think the price increase was to make Switch 2 more appealing. Switch 2 Kirby Air Riders, good luck. Do you think they expected for the Switch 1 to be the best selling in Japan, or to be selling well in Japan? That they expected for the Switch 1 to still be selling well in Japan? Yes. Because Nintendo is at a point now where they have the highest amount of active install base ever for a console this late in the game. They're in the 120s of millions of people still actively playing. Wii wasn't anywhere near 90 million still active players in 2012 when Wii U came out. Wii U wasn't at 9 or 8 million active players in 2017 when Nintendo Switch came out. Nintendo 3DS didn't have 60 million active players in 2017 when Nintendo Switch came out. Nintendo 64 didn't have 26 million players active in 2001 Nintendo GameCube came out. Nor did Nintendo GameCube have 17 million active GameCube players when Wii came out in 06. Like, no Nintendo console, rarely any console ever has that many proportionately active folks playing the old system on the verge of a new platform emerging and then being out. So Nintendo knew, why pull the plug on Nintendo Switch when we could still make money off of each unit sold, have a library that's still appealing to them, have the talk of the town still be there of Nintendo Switch, even if Nintendo Switch 2 is out, that people won't feel like they're just buying some old crusty system that nobody's playing anymore. No, because a lot of people are still actively buying the likes of Mario Kart. So for new people that are late to the party, they'll still have a viable platform. And Japan did the best proportionately, but it's still selling several 100,000 units worldwide. It just takes a few 100,000 per country zone to end up selling several 100,000 per quarter, and that's how they inch their way towards 160 million by summer of 2027. I wonder if that caught them off guard, which is why the president spoke about helping them make the transition. I don't play handheld, but I would kind of want a micro for that price. Switch One is perfect for travel. If that Switch stick ever malfunctions, call Gamer Classic for your stick fix. I think Switch will overtake PlayStation 2 soon. Andres, yeah. By the end of summer 2027, it will. That's the one thing PC hasn't mastered yet. They're too clunky. Hassano, is there rumors of big games coming to Switch 2? Yeah, big games are going to be coming to Nintendo Switch 2. Throughout the whole generation, we will eventually see a brand new epic 3D Mario. We will eventually see a brand new epic 3D Zelda. They're coming. It's just going to take time. It's going to be a long gen. Nintendo is on the verge of 9 years of supporting Nintendo Switch. Expect Nintendo Switch 2 to get a good, 7-8 years of support as well. I think that's fair to say. I love Switch 2 to support external drives. Yeah. Wii was used more at nursing homes by 2012. Yeah, like the vast majority of that install base was not actively playing them that far in. I'm really bummed out that, says Matt McDonald, that Fallout 4 Anniversary is a code in the box for Switch 2. Nintendo is the only platform I buy physical on. I would have been fine with GKC, but CIAB is horrendous. You know what code in a box does, though? It gives you that physical box on your shelf for visual purposes. And it gives you that digital convenience that Game Key Card doesn't give, because it's always on your system, so you don't have to walk up from your couch to your TV, pop it in, pop it out, boom, hop, right? It's just always there. It doesn't give you that Game Key Card ownership to where you could then sell said title. It's always stuck to your library forever. But if you never planned on selling it, not that big of a deal to have it digitally, Not all that bad. You get your box and you get the convenience of digital. So, it's alright. They don't put full game on disc for their first party games either, says ELP. Yep. I kind of like to know how many of those users share a console or are one person with multiple accounts, but hopefully it would still be around 100 million. Yeah, Sketches, it's a good point. You've got 155 million Nintendo Switches out there. You also have 128 million active players. You've got people with multiple Nintendo Switch accounts. Folks who own multiple Nintendo Switches. Households that have multiple accounts per one Nintendo Switch. And all sorts. But at the end of the day, it's still a lot of people playing. Code in the Box is the worst of all worlds. I don't know if it's all that bad. I could have got Split Fiction Code in a Box, but I bought Split Fiction just digitally because it was a price difference. Digital was no tax. Code in a Box was the price of a digital with tax. So I'm like, it's like a $7 difference. I don't need that plastic box to represent that game that I have. WWE 2K25, though, I got Code in a Box, but that's because it was also like $15. It was on like hardcore sale at Walmart over like Black Friday or something. So I got like $15, $10. I was like, dude, this is way too cheap. It's way too good of a deal to pass up on that. I easily bought that one, But yeah. Like, I'll tell you this. I got Street Fighter 6 digital instead of Game Key Card. But let's say that I had the option of digital or code in the box, but the code in the box did not cost any tax. So it was like 60 or 60. I would have bought the code in the box because then I would have my case for 60 and a digital copy for that convenience factor. Don't need the game key card for this one in particular because I'm never going to sell it. So I'd have the convenience factor of digital, the cost of digital, the box of a physical / game key card. That'd be alright. But I got the digital version because it was more affordable. And I'm like, I know I'm going to forever keep Street Fighter 6 in my system to just pick it up randomly to play it whenever something new comes out. I'll always go back to a little Street Fighter 6, you know? Switch 1 is selling more than PS5 in Japan. It's wild. True. Indiana Jones is on a cart. That's on Xbox, yeah. Could Switch 2 outsell the original Switch given its initial pace? Oof. Cole York. It is outselling it toe-to-toe, timeline aligned, but whether it could outsell it the entire generation remains to be seen. It is more expensive. That's a little bit of a disadvantage, because anything more expensive, well, is harder for more people to buy, correct? But it's coming out at a good time, because it's coming out later into PS5 and Xbox Series' life. Xbox Series is kind of getting weaker and weaker. PS5 is getting older, but also has still some strength to it. Has GTA 6 on the horizon. We don't know if Nintendo Switch 2 is going to get GTA 6 or not. We've got to assume the next Xbox isn't going to be that big of a seller just because of how they're putting everything everywhere. We've got to assume PS6 is kind of a ways off. So Nintendo Switch 2 will be like the newest kid on the block, the big new attractive system to buy for a while. Yeah, you'll have Steam Deck too, but that's not going to be in Walmart, Best Buy, GameStop, Target, so readily available everywhere, Amazon. Yeah, you've still got competition between iPads, other tablets and smartphones, iPhones, Android, all that stuff, but like that's been around for a while. Key component being Nintendo Switch 2 is more expensive. It has a chance at beating NS, but not guaranteed, you know? Is Switch 2 getting 20 million soon? Yes. I don't know if it's going to happen by March 31st, but it will happen before June 30th for sure. Summer looks like it'll be a heavy RPG time for Switch 2, yeah. I hope Starfield's coming to Switch 2. That'd be pretty cool. If they make some great third-party games. And people realize it's $450 new low. It's not more expensive. Yeah, as like a PS6 would come out for $700, an Xbox for $700, and then you have Nintendo Switch 2 at $450. You'd be like, everything's going up. Well, how much is your iPhone? $1,300? Oh, you know. Although more people seem to be more okay with high smartphone prices because it is their everything that they do in life is on this smartphone. Whereas a video game system is a little bit more of a luxury than a smartphone. Okay, I'm going to read some of these in my head, but I am going to read them all because my mouth needs a little bit of a break. I do get that satisfying feeling of taking a cartridge out of the box and putting it in. Yeah. I agree. I would choose physical cartridge at 70 plus tax over digital at 70. What I didn't do though is for the likes of Hades 2, I didn't buy the physical 8 weeks later for double the price of digital that I got 8 weeks earlier. I couldn't justify that double, you know. But toe-to-toe, I would rather not have the convenience of digital, pay the same amount for physical, and own that cartridge. Ethan Kunstar, welcome, hello. Welcome, Ethan. The price adjustment will change the current perception about the price. Cell phones are also subsidized by the phone companies. Michael S. Gutmann showing off that 5-month PGN white belt green badge. Heck yeah, with the Green Ranger looking good, that means you got 1 month to go, and that thing's changing. Sketches of Harmony also with the Green Ranger, showing off that membership for 5 months PGN white belt tier banner. Heck yeah, thank you both. Snap. A stupid number of phones are attached to 2-year phone plans and leases. Okay, geez, I'm caught up. I did read some. Quietly. Because y'all been on fire with the comments. Woo, that's a lot of comments. You know what? One of the things I wanted to watch with y'all is the following. Some of you might have seen it already. I don't know. But as our stream approaches its end, let's watch this Mario Tennis Fever opening cinematic, yeah? that tone at the end is funny. Okay, that was good. I like that. That was good. That was good. Yeah, that's good. Mario Tennis Fever is looking more Smash Bros. And Mario Party than ever before, I would say, for a Mario Tennis game. Was this in the Super Bowl commercial? Not that I saw. AJ Rex, no. Then again, I didn't watch the Super Bowl. But Super Bowl had Pokemon as part of it. And Mario Galaxy. Why would they make a Nintendo Switch Micro? To sell more units. To cater to the families out there with a smaller budget who don't need the latest and greatest for their household, who have new, younger kids that don't yet need a $400 iPad, that the parents themselves don't need a $700 PlayStation 5 or Xbox, that don't need a $500 Nintendo Switch 2, but that these 3 to 5 year old kids were too young to have a Nintendo Switch / didn't need one at that point, but now are in that preschool to kindergarten, first grade era that they have friends at school that are gaming, or an older cousin or something like that that are gaming, that a $100 device is a cheaper pill to swallow, that you could still keep the ecosystem of Nintendo Switch fresh, and at a $100 price point, you have something that's not quite throwaway money, but easy gifting money. You know, like you want to buy someone a nice present, like a nice little gift. $100 is not cheap, but 100 is a lot easier than 2 or 3. So $100 for that cousin, that friend that doesn't have a video game system that you want to get them into gaming. Here's $100. Here's a Nintendo Switch Micro. You know? Yeah. Let's read the poll, by the way. Would you buy a Nintendo Switch Micro for $100? Yes, and I already have a Nintendo Switch. 35% of you still would do it. That's amazing. Yes, and it would be your first NS. That means some of you watching this stream don't have a Nintendo Switch, but you would buy that thing. No, because you already have a Nintendo Switch. 54%. That is the majority. And 5% of you know, and I don't have any type of Nintendo Switch. So some of you are watching here now, don't have an NS, and wouldn't even buy one for this $100 price point. So, interesting results. You got your first DS at 7. Cool. Speaking of Super Bowl Pokemon ads, which one is your favorite ad overall? I didn't watch the Super Bowl, so I don't know. If that's the question. Micro could also help Nintendo get rid of any Switch 1 chips they have. True, Paladin. Alrighty. That was a fun stream. We hit the Nintendo 64 minute mark. We are actually closer to hour and a half, if I'm not mistaken. 86 minutes. Yeah, that's a good stream. We got 42 people watching and 41 likes. If you, by the way, want to support any of the shorts that I've done recently, here are the PGN shorts. If you'd like to watch them, hit that like button, comment, then that'd be cool. That'd be nice. Let's see. Meanwhile, if you feel like
hey everyone, Paul Gale Network
hyping a video, because you can't hype shorts, but if you feel like hyping a video, this video could use some hypes. It's already doing really well, 2,500, but hey, it could go up. So if you have any hypes that you would like to share throughout the week, if you have any spares, that would be nice. Otherwise, your likes are always appreciated. That was a question posed by the ad. Pokemon. Who's my favorite Pokemon overall? I think I gotta go with Charizard overall as like my favorite. Yeah. And you're done with your DDP yoga workouts. Right on, Tall Show. Great to hear. Okay, everybody. That's going to do it for our stream. Thank you so much for coming out. Ash, thank you for the awesome dollar super chat. I really appreciate it. We are looking healthy as a community. We are almost at 8,500 subscribers. That's wild. We started off the year with like 8,016 or something like that because we hit 8,016 or something right before the end of the year. So maybe we started the year off like 8,040. I don't know. So we're close anyhow to hitting 500 new subscribers in 5 weeks, 6 weeks, less than 6 weeks. Not to be presumptuous, but I think we hit 8,500 by next week. And then by that logic, I think by April 30th, before April 30th, we get this channel to 9K. That'd be kind of neat. I think 10,000 by the end of the year would be awesome. It's probably a decent prediction. Before I go, I'll read a couple of last comments though. Elias Craig. Any speculation on when Duskbloods come out? It's a good game to have come out around Halloween. I don't know. Oh, I'll have to say late October. Now, it doesn't mean that it can't come out in November or August or something like that, but if they know this is like a fall release, we're anticipating it being ready, you know, third quarter, fourth quarter of 2026. If you have the option of when to release that game, assuming it's done, I think you want to have it come out in October just to capitalize a little bit more on that horror hype, right? Otherwise, I think it's in general like a third quarter of this year game. Love your channel. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. AJ Rax, have a good day. Paul, see you later. Have a good one. Tsukino Ame, later, everyone. Yeah, thank you all. Whew, man, I need some water and I need some pizza. I'm going to head out, maybe order a pizza. I'll see you all later, though. Have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Ash, again for the awesome dollar holler. Appreciate the generosity. And I'll see you all probably tomorrow for some more PGN Live.